Civic society coming out to defend the Helen Suzman Foundation following Home Affairs Minister Dr. Motsoaledi's strong words for the foundation. We are still joined on the line now, Socio-Economic Rights Institute spokesperson Nomzamo Zondo. Nomzamo, before we were cut off, you were trying to give us your reaction as the minister also goes on to say that the Helen Suzman Foundation was twisting the support that South Africans had expressed as being xenophobic. What are your remarks around that?
Look, so we've watched the Minister of Home Affairs, and we've watched his responses in relation to the actions of Operation Tutula. We've watched the response of the Ministry of Police around exactly the same issue where groups have attacked migrants in this country. And it's also very painful because these are migrants from the SADC region. These are our neighbors. And we know that, unfortunately, at each and every time, we've seen the government stand with groups like Operation Tutula, even in cases where there's been violence. And the issue about the ZSP is really government pandering to Operation Tutula, but also to opposition parties who've come out and said we can do better on the issue of managing immigration. But the reality is, cutting the ZSP and possibly even cutting the Lesotho Special Dispensation is a problem for us as South Africans, because we were supported in the past by Zimbabweans, by people in Lesotho, but even now, the actions of what happens in those countries still support our economy. The reason we have our water is because of Lesotho. And for the minister to kind of say the issue of the ZSP, because I don't think we've had a clear referendum on what people say about people from Zimbabwe, or what people say on the ZSP. It's what the minister tells us is the position of citizens.
So what would you like to see happen? What do you think should happen now?
Look, I mean, we think that the Helen Suzman Foundation have brought a case. That case must take its course. The Constitution, which enables the Helen Suzman Foundation to bring that case, must be respected, which means that Mr. Motsoaledi must respond in court and not attack civil society, and definitely not attack the Helen Suzman Foundation for bringing forward the plight of 200,000 families.
Are you saying that there's no substance at all to the minister's call on the ZEP, especially assessing the country's economic climate and concerns around jobs and concerns around the ratios not being maintained? Like, with the immigration laws, for instance, in New Zealand, there are certain criteria that need to be met. What is your position on the immigration situation?
So there's 2 points. The Zimbabwe Special Dispensation has been in place now for almost 10 years, if not more than that. So these people have been lawfully in the country for 10 years. A few years after the Zimbabwe Special Dispensation, the Minister of Home Affairs put in place the Lesotho Special Dispensation. And I don't think we can then say as a country, we want 200,000 people who have had jobs for the last 10 years to lose them come December. Of course, the minister in his statement says these people can apply for other permits. But ask anyone who's dealt with Home Affairs if they can trust that Home Affairs would have processed of those applications by December. But even better, go back and look at the briefing, at the purpose, the reason why we have this Zimbabwe Special Dispensation, because we knew those people don't qualify for those other permits. That's why we then said, we know that these are our neighbors, we know what's happening in Zimbabwe, and we think that they should be able to be in this country lawfully, and we put in place the ZSP. And so you can't then say now, he hasn't even addressed what has changed between when that happened and now. And what does it mean to basically, I don't understand why for the minister, he cannot at least comprehend what the impact will be for those 200,000 ZSP holders. And I think if, for instance, the minister's position was, I'm ready to justify my decision, then by all means, this is a court process. The Helen Suzman Foundation has not threatened to throw bombs on government buildings if this is not changed. They've taken it to court for adjudication. He must put all his reasons in the court papers, and then in that process, we'll be able to come to a conclusion that hopefully protects everyone.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. So